Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. This is my second video using the Snow Days scrapbooking workshop from Stampin Up. As you may remember, I'm a real beginner at making scrapbooking things, so I've only made one double page spread and I chose to do the second project. But this time I'm going to do the first project. Now I have two older children and I have lots and lots of photographs from them growing up, and I'm trying to make a book for each of them. I'm not sure how many pages I'll end up making, but what I'm doing is doing like one of the pages for my daughter and one for my son. So although I will be using all of the projects, it won't be all in one book. I'm going to split them up into different books. And I've chosen to do this first one for my son. I don't have as many snowy pictures of him as I had of my daughter. So I'm just choosing the first project and using the photographs that I have. Now, a lot of my photographs were pre-cut to fit into a photograph album. And so I don't have the same sizes as the project shows. So I'm just tweaking it a little bit to make it work for me. What I've done already is cut all the pieces of paper that I need. And the instructions give you the pictures of the designer series paper and show you which pieces you need to cut. So what I've done is found, let's move this over, the first project, the left page and the right page, I've written down the sizes of paper I needed on each one, and let's move that out of the way, and I've already pre-cut all of those. Now for this project, the left page and the right page is exactly the same layout, so that made it really quick. It was a case of learning how to cut them once and then, you know, just the same for the second page. So here are all my pieces. And I'm going to do both background pages together. So let me turn it over. And you see, I'm not putting any of the embellishments on until I've got the photographs on, but I'm just going to put these backing pages together. It's really simple. Once you've worked out which letters you need and you check on here which of the letters you need, then you look back in the instructions, find that letter and cut your paper accordingly. So I'm going to start on, let's start on the left page, and we start with it says 1B, which is this top piece, the snowflakey one, and we're going to put it right at the top of the paper, or of the pool stock card, I beg your pardon. Now all of these things do come in the workbook shop, but I'm hoping that once I've done a few of the kits, I'll be able to use some of my existing papers and do my own pages. I'll be able to use the layouts that I'm learning now, but use my own paper. So I do have lots of embellishments that I could use, die cuts. I could stamp and die cut or punch cut things. And hopefully that way I'll learn a few techniques and I'll be able to make my own. Okay, so the next piece I'm going to put on is 1A. 1A is this little piece that has the white backing, and it says to put it over the seam between 1B and the base page. So I'm only going to put it over a tiny bit. On the last project, I butted everything up like this, but this one definitely says to overlay it. So I'm only going to put a little bit over. And because I'm making both pages at the same time, I know I'll be able to get exactly the same dimensions, and I'll be able to do it so that each page is exactly the same. I'm just going to put it down onto my grid paper so that I know that it's level. There we go. Just using those grid lines just to level it off. Okay, and then it says next 1C is 6 by 10, and it's this candy cane piece. But before I do that, I'm going to do my other page so it's exactly the same as this. So I'll just move those. And that way I know everything's level. I'm not looking at it and thinking, oh, no, that's a 1/4 of an inch higher or lower or something that will bother me. This is such pretty designer series paper. Stampin' Up did sell this in the Christmassy mini catalogue, the holiday one. And I didn't buy it then, but I know that I'm going to have quite a few pieces left over. So the things that I saw that I liked made with that paper, I'm going to make them with my leftovers. Okay, a little bit of glue on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to put my first piece here, so that I know exactly how much of an overlap I did. There we go. Let me put those together exactly the same. Comes down a little bit, there we go. And now I know that those 2 pages, when they're together in the scrapbook, they will look exactly the same. Okay, so next thing we need is the candy cane piece. And that is 1C, cut at 6 by 10, and it goes up 4 inches from the bottom. To be honest, I don't think it really matters if it's 4 1/4, 3 7/8, as long as you have both pages the same. So as long as I do both pages the same, it's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, I'm going to line that up on my grid paper, and I'm going to try and get it up 4. Oh, that seems really high, doesn't it? Because you have quite a big gap on the bottom. I'm actually going to come down a tiny bit. I think I'm just going to do mine at 3 1/2. And as long as I do them both the same, it won't matter. I want to see some of that pretty snowflake paper as well. There we go. I'm just going to go over that with my bone folder, because as I've cut it, I'm a little bit heavy-handed when I use the trimmer. So I end up with a little ridge. There we go. Now I haven't. And I'm going to do the same piece here. So it's a 3 1/2 again. And because I haven't got much experience with scrapbooking, I thought the kits would really help. And I really enjoyed the last one that I made. So put this up here. Find roughly the 3 1/2 line. I'm not going to stick it down completely till I put this one next to it. Oh, let me put it that way. Yep, that's okay. Going to put them together. And you see how I've got it a tiny bit lower. So I'm just going to go up a tiny bit. There we are. Make sure it's left and right centered as well. Okay. Now you could put a ruler under as well to make sure that you're on the 3 1/2 or the 4 inch line or whatever you're going to use. Okay. And next we need this little narrow strip on top of the candy cane paper. 1D is 10 by 1/2 inch. I haven't experimented and used a different side of the paper. I am using the designer series paper as shown. But if something else works better for you, then I think it would be fine just to change it. Now it says this has got to be 1/2 inch up. So I'm just going to eyeball the first one. And then the second one, I will just hold it against my first page to check that it's similar, if not exactly the same. Put the 2 pages together. There we go. Right, that's both base pages made. Just pop the lid on my glue for a moment. So I'm going to start with the left page, and the left page here has 2 pictures. The right page really has 3 spaces because it's got a little piece for journaling here. I can't make mine exactly like that. I have to go with whatever pictures I have. I have already backed most of them, and I've used the white willow that's included in the kit, and I've measured the size of my photographs, and then I've just made the white willow piece 1/4 of an inch bigger all round. I did have a message about my last page. I'd put some things up on dimensionals, and a lady said to just be careful with that because they can get squashed. Once they're back in the little pockets, it can squash them if you have too much depth. So I won't put too many more on dimensionals. Okay. Now this first one has got the 2 pictures. But what I'm going to do is, because of the size of my pictures, I'm going to use this as my, like this one, but my little journaling piece. And I had a tiny little photograph of my son, and it just worked to put it on here. But because it was a bit smaller, I made the white smaller as well. And I just drew that little black border. And that fits in with the pieces I did in the last session. I put those little borders as well. So I've got those 2. And the other ones I just had these 2 pictures where he was making the snowman and put the carrot in for the nose. And then he was most upset because his sister took it out and she actually had a nibble of the carrot. So he wasn't terribly happy with that. So actually, let's put these 2 down first because these 2 make me laugh. Okay, and I'm going to make it like the left page. So here he is, just putting that little nose in, and then his little face looking, saying, "Look, Mum, look what she's done. She's going to eat it," and she did. So fun little memories to look back on, aren't they? And spread them right out. Oh, you know, I've got like a little blur here. I might put it over at the left-hand side, and I could pop maybe one of the trees over it. Rather than have these trees all over here, I could maybe pop something over it, and you won't see it. And then it just looks like she's taken that little carrot out, and he did actually put it back in, but it had the little bite mark. I don't know what she thought she was maybe missing. Something. Okay. Now I do have a little bit of wet glue here. I'm going to wait for it to dry, and then just with my little glue eraser, I'm going to erase that. Pop a little bit more glue there. It's just not sticking there. Okay, and let's put I'm going to put the photographs on the other one while I let this one's glue dry. So this was the first time that my daughter had been on a sledge and out in the snow. My son had seen the snow the year before in the UK, but I don't think he really remembered it. So this is their daddy taking them for a ride on the wooden toboggan, or sledge as you call them too over here. I will do my journaling afterwards when I've got my pages finished. So I've got a little space here just to write sort of the date, or I could even put the date at the bottom. I could cut them out with one of my number dies, and I could just put a little bit on there. Not too much, just a little reminder. Okay, so let's see. Let's stick this on together first. I'm going to do this now as the right page. So I need the sticker that says Snow Much Fun from the sticker pages. I'm going to put that over the top here. And they have two different size photographs. I'm just going to pretend that they're both the same, and I'm going to put my sticker so it's over the top of my left-hand photograph, and it will just help adhere it as well. So they have it sort of here, nice and straight. There we go. So snow, much fun. And then I need the little tree and the little penguin. Here's the little tree. I'm going to see if I can get it to fit over, just over here. But I'm going to put the penguin at the right hand side so that it's not sticking over my sun there. And because that was such a narrow little piece of a photograph, I thought it was just perfect to go on that journal inside. Oh, I see. I think he's meant to sit in the picture, look. Let me see if I can just move that along a little bit. It's okay for the tree to overhang, the little but that would cover him up. So no, I don't want to cover him up so much. I'm going to put it like this so that a lot of the tree overhangs, and then the little penguin will as well, and that's okay. Little penguin will be right on the edge. Okay, but I think I will die cut a date on there. I'll work out what year it was, and I'll just pop it down here. So let's go back to that other page and check that it's dry. Oh, that glue's nearly dry. I'm just going to go over it a few times and then I can rub it off. There we go. And a little glue eraser will always take this kind of glue off. If you leave it, it's almost like the glue on a post-it note. It will stay just tacky, and I don't want it to catch and get something else stuck on it. A bit there. That's because I moved that photograph after I'd already stuck it down, and that's okay. It's okay, we can always remedy things. There we are. Right, so I've used this one. Let's use this. So I need the word explore and the two larger trees. And they've got it all across. Oh, let's get them all. They've got it all across here, but I don't want to stick it over too much of my picture. Let's just have a little play. Let's get all three pieces. I could have the trees over here, or I could have I might put the writing here. And then it goes over that little blemish that I didn't really like. And then these trees are quite big, but I could get them just to overlap like that. Oh, let's just see. You could also put them at the bottom of the page. I might just see how this works. I think I quite like it that way round. Yeah. Move that along a tiny bit. There we are. That's 2 pages made so quickly. Last time it took me an hour to make 2 pages. This time it was a really fast layout because the pieces were easy to cut, and I think I'd got the hang of it a little bit more. So here are my 2 pages. It doesn't matter which way you put them in, to be honest. But there we are. So I will upload this to YouTube, and I'll see you all again very soon, and I'll make the 3rd project. Thanks so much for joining me. See you all soon. Bye-bye.